So cash is not going away. A lot of people think they're talking and saying cash is actually going to go away. Right? Are we going to have a cashless society? You see this article. Most Americans like me, and maybe you're the same, don't really use cash, right? But this is only one segment of the population, maybe the majority of the population. But the FDIC came out with this report in 2021 that said 4.5% of Americans' households, they don't even have a bank account. Right? Just think about that. 1 in 25 houses or 1 in 20 houses, people, no one in the house has a bank account. So how are these people operating? They're operating in cash. I'll get into kind of why I think that happens. We have some insight because of our ATM machine fund. And the FedNow, if you've watched this, FedNow is a group. It's basically, some people think it's the first start of a central bank digital currency. I disagree. I think it is unfortunate. It allows for individuals to send large amounts of money instantly, any time of day. Is this a central bank digital currency they've talked about? We're going to go into it. We're going to jump into why cash is not going away in 3 easy steps. This is going to be a little controversial for some of you, but I want to jump into it. Let's do it. All right, so my name is Bronson Hill. I'm the CEO of Bronson Equity. We've raised about $35 million for different alternative assets, such as multifamily, ATM machines, car washes, oil and gas, and other deals. We're doing great deals. If you haven't joined our investment club, check it out at bronsonequity.com. I'm not an investment advisor. You're investment advisors to get your own investment advice. So like I said, we are doing stuff in the cash space, in the ATM space. I don't think it will be obsolete really ever. I think there will always be cash. I'm going to get into why that is. But the first thing is there's no political will to do away with cash. And why is that important? It's because if we actually put a central bank digital currency in place, that actually has to be voted in. Powell has said, we're waiting for Congress to actually kind of do something to vote this in. So why would that happen? It would have to be political will. So let's talk about the political will, right? So politically on the right, there's issues with central bank digital currency because it has a lot to do with privacy, right? If central bank digital currency exists, they can know every transaction you're doing. They can know everything you're buying. They can know everything that's happening in real time, and they can actually limit what you're able to buy, who's able to buy it. Turn them with a button. They can turn on and off your ability to access the financial system. It's kind of terrifying if you think about it. And then politically on the left, if they did away with cash, who would this hurt? Well, we talked about 4.5% of households, no one even has a bank account, right? So this is low income. It's people that are working for cash under the table. It's people on unemployment benefits. It's different types of people that are outside of the financial system. And so it would really hurt them. So politically on the left, they would say, well, these are our constituents. We're not going to allow this because it's going to hurt them, right? So, and you look at what happens if this moves into place. China is a place that is an authoritative government. You can't speak against the government. They actually have something called a social score. This is a real thing. This is not just like a theoretical. This actually exists. That every citizen, there's facial, recognition, how people comply, and people are given social scores, and it affects their ability in some ways to interact with the financial system, how they buy and sell, how they borrow, what sort of products they're given access to. And so this is all basically limiting personal freedom, right? And so that's what's happening in a place like China. Now, they still have cash in a place like China, so that's interesting. But one thing that really opened me up to this as well is when the Canadian truckers went through Canada, this was in 2021, they protested getting the vaccine. And so they had a right to assemble, right to protest. They protested in Ottawa and kind of blocked certain streets and whatever. And they basically, the government said, this is an act of terrorism and we're going to go after these guys. And so what they did is they basically shut down their assets, so meaning they couldn't access stuff in the financial system. But this is the crazier part to me, and this is just, it feels like some sort of dystopia or something, but it actually happened. Let's say I'm a citizen, I'm a Canadian citizen, I'm a business owner or something, and I give money to a cause that I believe in. I'm sympathetic, saying, yeah, I don't think they should have to get the vaccine or whatever, so I give some money to them. Well, the Canadian government was shutting down my assets, right? Now, I'm not a Canadian citizen, I didn't give to this, but this was actually happening. There's people that I know that actually had assets and they were just shutting down all their assets. So then if I have a business, I can't make payroll, I can't pay my bills. I'm basically kind of almost being branded a terrorist for giving to just a political cause that I don't believe in. And that's absolutely terrifying about the financial system. But what if it was easier, that it was just, they could track that much easier, they could turn your ability on and off to be able to use certain things. So that's why I think that if central bank digital currency comes, especially the US, there will be resistance. All the people using cash, all the workers on the table, there's people that actually use cash because there's some sort of legal judgment. If they put money in a bank, the bank will actually garnish the money and take it out. It could be a divorce thing. It could be something with some other legal settlement. So the people that are operating outside of the legal system for reasons like this. And so, central bank digital currency gives so much power to central governments. They have the ability to turn on and off your ability to spend, or if you're spending on certain things. So we don't want you to spend it on, on alcohol, or we don't want you to spend it on buying weapons, or we don't want you to spend it on certain things. And it's just very scary, because let's say you're on the wrong side of the political group in power, they have the ability to control this stuff. So the third reason why I think cash will never go away is that no government has ever done away completely with cash, and it's never happened. Now, over 5,000 year history. Now, China they haven't done it either. They're a controlled central government. They haven't found a way to do it. I don't think it will ever happen. There's always a need to be able to store money outside of the financial system. And my friend Joe Brown from Heresy Financial, if you haven't followed him, he's a great guy to follow. He talks about this is a tyrant's dream, right? Having central bank digital currency is a tyrant's dream. There's already some resistance to this. Like I talked about, there'd be resistance to this. In Florida, Ron DeSantis, the governor there, has put up a law saying central bank digital currencies are illegal here. So there's becoming more buzz around why this is not actually good. And I'm going to get into really, there's no benefit to citizens of having central bank digital currency. I mean, maybe say maybe it's more portable or whatever, but I don't think there's really any benefit. And I think if it comes, I really think it's the time to really head to the streets and start protesting, because that means your personal liberties are gone. I mean, if that actually happens and it gets scaled up and they start doing it with cash, like it won't happen right away, but as those things happen, I mean, that's something that I think is really worth standing up for. So just to sum it all up, we've seen transactions in cash, for ATM machines, which is one of our business, a great cash flowing business. I was really skeptical at first, but it's been amazing. But the number of transactions has approximately doubled in the last 20 years, right? So we've actually seen, as the more things go digital, the more people we found actually are using cash. I want to share this quote with you. This comes from Nicholas Anthony and Norbert Michael, who run an organization talking about these issues. And they say, well, central bank digital currencies don't offer any unique benefit to the American people. They do pose serious risks to financial privacy and economic freedom. Think about that. There's no benefit to this. Really, there's no benefit to the American people, and you have major risks to privacy, people, the government knowing everything you're doing, and economic freedom, being able to use the money that you have, right? So I think it's a huge, huge issue. I think it's something that we should stand up for. Like my friend George Gammon says, stand up for liberty, justice, and free market capitalism, right? Just having the ability to have a business, to be able to operate in cash and to have some autonomy. I'd encourage you to check out this video. This is the dollar collapse has already started. Just talking through what's happening right now with the dollar and how to position yourself. And if you haven't joined our investment club, I mentioned ATM machine investing. We have multifamily. We do oil and gas, ATM machines, and car washes. Check out these videos, check out our investment club, because there's just some really unique stuff that we're finding to be able to provide appreciation and cash flow in a market where it's challenging to find that. So I encourage you to check that out in the link below, or you can go to bronsonequity.com. Thanks for taking the time to educate yourself. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.